Hey guys, we're going to do a quick video here for section 3.5, and we're working in class on how to solve two-step equations. So that's kind of the essential question here is how can I solve two-step equations? So maybe to kind of get things kind of started here, maybe we should start by looking at a two-step equation and what that is. So I'm going to make an example, example 1, and show you a two-step equation. So here's a two-step equation. Let's say I had 2x minus 9 equals 5. 2x minus 9 equals 5. What I'm trying to do here, move this out of the way, is I'm trying to solve for x. I want to know what does x equal. So I'm going to put my line down the middle and I'm going to picture at the bottom x equaling an answer. And so the goal is to get there. How do I get x all by itself? So I see two things I need to do. I need to get rid of the 9 and the 2. I need to move those over to the other side. So I'm going to start with the 9 first. It's a minus 9. And I'm going to flip that minus 9 over. A subtracting 9, if I move it over, turns into a positive 9, a plus 9. So I'm going to move it to that side. Another way of thinking about this is it's like adding 9 to both sides. When you add 9 equally to both sides, negative 9 and 9 cancel out. They make 0. So you're left with just a 2x, which is nice. And on this side, you're left with 5 plus 9. Well, 5 plus 9 is 14, so we have 14. 2x equals 14. Now what I just did there, that move, actually has a name. When you add the 9 to the other side, we call that the addition property of equality. And I'm going to write that. Addition property of equality. And what that really means is I used adding, I used addition, and the property means it's a rule in math. So here we have a rule that when you add 9 to both sides equally, so that's where the equality comes in, that's okay to do. So that's exactly what I just did. Now I'm going to do the next step here. I'm going to get rid of the 2. Well, this is 2 times x, so the opposite of multiplication is division. We're going to divide by 2 on both sides. And that's going to get rid of the 2's, which is great. And 14 divided by 2 is 7, so I finally get down to my answer here. X is equal to 7. And that process of dividing both sides, well, if this was the addition property of equality, this is the division property of equality. Division property of equality. So I'm going to write that out. Awesome. All right. So that's a two-step problem. We call it a two-step problem because I literally use 2 steps. I use the addition property of equality and the division property of equality. And I got my answer. Here's how you can bump these problems up to a level 4 and show that you're a little bit more advanced. If you want to show that you know what you're doing, something you can add to your problems is you can check your answers. Here's what a check looks like. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write the words check, and I'm going to copy the problem. I'm going to write it down again. It was 2x minus 9 equals 5. And I want to see if I have the right answer. Well, to see if I have the right answer, I think x is equal to 7. That's what I got. So where the x is, I'm going to put a 7 right there because we think x is equal to 7. So let's check it and see if that's really true. So instead of 2x minus 9, instead of that, I'm going to have 2 times 7 minus 9 equals 5. And now I got a little bit of math to do. 2 times 7 is 14. So I have 14 minus 9 equals 5. Okay, 14 minus 9 is 5. So 5 does equal 5. Awesome. Okay, so 5 equals 5. That's true. 5 is equal to 5. Check. This means that my answer, x equals 7, that I got way up here, is correct. Now don't be fooled. A lot of people accidentally start thinking the 5 is the answer. 5 is not the answer. That was just me checking to make sure that the left and the right equaled each other. If I had done all this work and I had gotten like 3 equals 5, then I would have said, wait a second, something's wrong up here. The x equals 7 must not be right. But I didn't. I got 5 equals 5, so this check proves that my answer is correct. And now I'm at a level 4. So let's try it with some different questions here. Let's do another question. Let's do an example 2. So I'm going to write example 2. Let's try another 2-step. I'm going to change it up this time though. Let's throw a fraction in there. So let's say I had 4 plus m over 3 equals negative 7. 4 plus m over 3 equals negative 7. I'm going to solve for m. So I'm going to put a line down the middle. And at the bottom, I'm expecting to get an answer for m equals. So I see I'm going to need to get rid of the 4 and the 3. So I'm going to start with the 4 first. Let's flip the 4 over to the other side. It's a positive 4, so when it flips, it's going to be a negative 4 on the other side. That's the exact same idea as subtracting 4 from both sides. 4 minus 4 is 0. I'm getting rid of the 4. Then I'm really just left with this m over 3. So m over 3 equals, and on this side I have negative 7 minus 4. Well, that's going to combine together to be negative 11. 7 plus 4 is 11. So I'm getting much closer to my answer now. Now I got to deal with the fraction. M over 3, remember fractions mean division in algebra. So m divided by 3, well, the opposite of division is to multiply. I'm going to times the 3. I'm going to multiply the 3 to the other side to get rid of it. That's going to be my strategy. Now m's all by itself, and a negative 11 times 3, well, 11 times 3 is 33, and a negative times a positive is a negative. It's a negative 33. Or at least that's what I think it is. Now let's go check it and make sure I'm actually right. Like I'm feeling good about my answer, but I want some proof. And I want a level 4. So I'm going to do my check. Here's my check. And to check the answer, I'm going to copy the problem and do it again. So I'm going to copy 4 plus m over 3 equals negative 7. Now, I think m is negative 33. I mean, that's the answer that we found down here. So right where the m is, I'm going to circle it. I'm going to be replacing that with my answer of negative 33. So instead of 4 plus m over 3, I have 4 plus negative 33 over 3 equals negative 7. Sweet. So let's do the math here. What is negative 33 divided by 3? Let's figure out what this is right there. Well, 33 divided by 3 is 11. So this is a negative 11 when you think about it. So it's 4 plus negative 11 equals a negative 7. Okay, well, what is 4 plus negative 11? Well, they're opposite signs, so I'm going to subtract. 11 minus 4 is 7. And the bigger number is 11. It's negative, so it's a negative 7. Negative 7 equals negative 7. Awesome. Check. I did my math right. That means this answer, m equals negative 33, is correct because this is my evidence. This is my check. Okay, so now it's your turn. I'm going to give you one, and I want you to pause the video and see if you can solve it first. So I'm going to give you example 3. And if you pause the video and try it, you can see if you're kind of understanding this or not. So here's the one I'm going to give you. Can you solve 3 minus 2m equals 17? 3 minus 2m equals 17. Okay, so I'm hoping you pause the video. Now you've unpaused the video and you're seeing if you got it correct. Let's check and see. So you've already solved it. You have an answer. Now I'm going to go through the steps. So I'm going to put my line down the middle. I want to solve for m. So I got to get m by itself. So I see the 3 and the 2. I'm going to move the 3 first. It's a positive 3, so it's going to flip to a negative 3. So it's going to be a negative 3. Get rid of that. I'm going to have on this side, look what I still have. I still have a minus 2m. So I still have negative 2m equals. But on this side, 17 minus 3, that's 14. So I'm getting closer now. Now I still want to get rid of the negative 2. So typically this means negative 2 times m. So I'm going to divide it away. I'm going to divide by a negative 2 on both sides. Not just a 2, but a negative 2. So m is going to equal 14 divided by 2. Well, that's 7. And a positive divided by a negative is a negative 7. There's my answer, negative 7. But I'm going for a level 4. So let's check it and see if I actually feel like I'm right. So I'm going to do my check right here. Check. I'm going to copy the problem. 3 minus 2m equals 17. And now that I think I have an answer, I'm going to see if it's actually right. I think m is negative 7. So right here where the m is, I'm going to put a negative 7. I'm going to replace it with the number. So I'm not going to have this 3 minus 2m. I'm going to have 3 minus 2 times negative 7 equals 17. I better check my math here. Now, order of operations says you multiply first, so I'm going to do 2 times 7. That's 14. A negative 2 times a negative 7 is a positive 14. So I have 3 plus 14 equals 17. And 3 plus 14, yeah, that's 17. 17 equals 17. Awesome. Check, check. So this answer, m equals negative 7, is right. So I'm hoping you have the same thing down on your paper, and if not, I'm hoping you're kind of fixing it up. We're going to do one more for this video, though, and I want to show you what this looks like. The last one we're going to do, we'll call it example 4. We're going to put a decimal in there. So here's example 4. Let's say we had this. Let's say we had 0.5 plus 3.7x equaled 10. It's still a two-step problem. Now it's got some decimals, but it's still not going to really bother me too much. I want to solve for x and get x by itself. I want an x equals answer. So I see like, oh, the 0.5 and the 3.7, I got to get rid of them. So I'm going to do my steps. I'm going to take the 0.5, flip it over. It'll turn into a negative 0.5, and that'll move it out of the way. And at this point, I'm like, oh, maybe I can just do it in my head. Or if you don't know how to do that in your head, you can use a calculator. I already know it's going to be 9.5, but why don't we put it in just to kind of practice? So 10 minus 0.5, 9.5. So, okay, there it is, 9.5. And with getting rid of this, we only have a 3.7x. 3.7x. Cool, we're close. So now we got to get rid of the 3.7. Well, it's 3.7 times x. So we are going to divide by 3.7 on both sides. Now this is where I'm going to need my calculator for sure. The 3.7's go away. But 9.5 divided by 3.7, that's not something I have memorized. So we're going to do that. We're going to go back to our calculator here. And we're going to do 9.5 divided by 3.7 and see what kind of ugly decimal we get. 2.56756756. Okay, so let's go with a rounding answer here. Let's say 2.5, 6 or 2.57. I'm going to go 2 decimal places. So 2.57 is my rounded answer. And I rounded, which is fine for an answer like that. And that's it. That's my decimal answer. Now I could go check it and get a level 4. So if that's something you want to do after the video's over with, you can check it and see if it's right, just to kind of practice. Okay guys, so 2-step equations, we're going to get really good at them in class, but it's good to watch some videos and kind of do some extra practice in class and at home with these things. Alright, thanks guys. Bye.